here's the deal, guys. You know, the reality is you can be foundational Black American, right? And still be African. You can still be more and still be African. You can still be Hebrew Israelite and still be African. You can still be whatever you want to call yourself and still be African, right? Because ultimately that's where we came from. Whether your ancestors came before Columbus, after Columbus, you know, with Columbus, it doesn't matter if they all came from the continent of Africa. That's it, right? And so what we're trying to say is that, guys, we have an inheritance, right? If your great-great-grandmother, you know, passed away and left you $1 million, right? You know, you're not going to say, oh, I didn't know her. I never, you know, knew who she was. Didn't know her name. I don't want the money. But we got the same thing in our community. We have people of African descent who say, I'm not African. I've never been to Africa. I don't know anything about Africa. Those people don't like me, right? But you have an inheritance there. You have an inheritance, right? Because you are African, whether you, no matter what you believe about it, think about it, whatever you think about it, that is what you are, and you have an inheritance there. All we're saying is, go get that check. Go get your inheritance, okay? But most of us are not willing to do that, right? Because we have something of more value on the continent of Africa through our ancestry than the $1 million in the analogy I used with your great-great-grandmother, right? There's something of more value on the continent, and that is our identity. That's our culture. That's who we are, right? Money can't teach you who you are, okay? Right? That is a way more value. Understanding who you are and where you came from, your history, is much greater value than, you know, printed paper, okay? But most of us would rather have the printed paper. And that's the same psychology, right, that led to many of our ancestors being enslaved, right? Because there were people who believed that the material thing was more important than their brother, who believed that the material things were more important than their sister, and they were willing to trade their brother or sister for that material good.